Hey kitties, what up? Welcome to Primal Scream. This is your host, Nick Graystone. For the next hour, we're going to talk about fantasy, reality, and everything in between. Let's go. Hey kitties, what up?
Oh my God, I am back. And I am with friend. My first guest. I couldn't even think of a better person to have as my first guest. I mean, the man has put me on all, like, his podcasts throughout the years. He's used my music. He's plugged me so many different ways. And he does so good. And I meant to say it that way because he is my dude. He is my buddy. He is my bro. He is my everything. My hetero life mate. The man, the handsome tag team partner of the girth, Mr. Anthony DiDomenico.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
You like that, right?
That's a nice intro. Yeah.
You like that, right?
It's a very good intro.
Dude, I learned from listening to you and how you do it. I try to emulate because you are like my inspiration for doing this stuff.
Stop
man,
that.
because you know what? You do it good, bro.
I appreciate that.
I watched you, how you did it and everything, and like I like it, and I do it when I watch you, and I try to, do it.
When on my podcast, I form a sentence. That's really...
Well, I don't know. Like, you just bring that idiot out of me because of, like, how I text you.
Don't be nervous. You text, like, the worst text message. Yeah, actually the worst text message.
Why don't you tell them?
So, Nick doesn't just text you. It's, like, 18 texts, but each one's, like, 1 or 2 words. And it's, like, a page long. And that irritates me. It's irritated me since texting's been around.
So, but do you think that I'm doing it on purpose or just because to irritate? Is it 50-50?
I don't know why, but it's like you text 2 words and have to hit send. It's not Morse code. You could actually write a paragraph and send it.
I just get so excited. I want to get it out there.
And you have a story to tell. Forget about it. I don't even respond to anything because I know there's the 25 things coming through.
Is it like what is that? Like Idiot's Guide for Storytelling?
I don't know about that, but you feel like Sonny Corleone at the toll booth. It's like one after the other, just rapid fire.
40 bullets, but like one like every other 3 seconds.
Like I'll see that you text me, then like when I go to look at the phone, it's like 17 messages. And it's like, and really all you're telling me is like you're going to be somewhere at a certain time.
I mean, I don't know. That's just how I do it. I wish I could say that I do it to piss you off because I do love getting...
I know you don't do it to piss me off.
I do like getting a rise out of you, though, sometimes.
Most people do, for some reason.
Because it's, right? Like, now, you're jacked up. And, like, when you get jacked up, But it's all good. It's all good.
All right.
Thank you for coming on to the show, dude.
Thank you for having me on.
It's a privilege and an honor to have you on, like I said. And we're reverting back to what I said 2 minutes ago. So we should just continue moving forward. Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
That's right, because Anthony is from the Keep Moving Forward podcast. For those of you that don't know, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Like, why did you start that podcast?
So I started that podcast back in 2018. Then it was called the WW Bro Podcast. And it was to... chronicle my weight loss journey and really to hold myself accountable. And I podcast anyway. I was doing podcasts anyway. I was doing organized chaos at the time. I would mess around with wrestling podcasts. And actually, I wanted to start a wrestling podcast again.
I'm glad you didn't.
Well, that's what actually funny. I don't know if he still bartends at Brokerage, but this guy, Anthony, he was a bartender at Brokerage. And I was telling him that I wanted to start another podcast. I think I'm going to do a wrestling podcast. He's like, why don't you do a podcast about like Weight Watchers and what you're doing on that? I'm like, I don't think anybody would want to listen to that. So I put the poll up. I'm thinking of starting a podcast, wrestling or Weight Watchers, and it was like 99 to 1% people thought I should do that podcast. So
and you listened.
I was hesitant because I knew if I did this podcast, it couldn't just be like, hey, I ate this, I tracked that, it couldn't be like a WW meeting in a way. Where like I'm just covering a subject. I knew I'd have to get like personal and talk about like real things that I'm very uncomfortable talking about. I mean, you've known me for how long? I'm not really open. Only with a few people, I'm really open about my life and things that are going on.
Nah, man, you bleed on that podcast, bro. I see it.
Yeah. So, and I think that's what people were drawn to right away because that was like they could relate to it. And it's been It's been like therapy. It's been a safe haven through everything I've gone through successes, through failures, heartbreaks, ups and downs. And, that's when I changed the name. I kind of changed it when I was moving too. I was moving out of a place I lived my whole life. And I was thinking about changing the name anyway. And I always kept on going back to keep moving forward because I'd always put it on my posts. Because I did it to remind myself I had to do that because I'm the king of looking back and dwelling on things. So I just thought it was a perfect name and it fit the podcast and what was going on because these last 2 years have really been about my struggles, gaining weight back and really trying to get this ship right. And all I can do is, move forward, not to sound like,
Keep moving forward.
Melodramatic about it, but that's really all I could do.
Yeah.
And so it's been, we've been doing the podcast now over 5 years, and it's been awesome. And people that continue to listen to this podcast, and I get the best feedback, and my listeners, I love them more than anything, and they're the best. And
it's a lot of memorable episodes that I've listened to and watched and stuff, man. And it's like you said, dude, you have to be honest with something like that because I feel like that is what draws people in that want to watch it. I've cried on the podcast more than I'd like to. I have too.
I wish I never cried on the podcast.
Nah, man, you got it. A good cry, man. A good cry is always good.
I talk about certain things and it's going to get me every time.
Right.
Like with the kids, my nephews and my niece, they'll get me every time. My mom, stuff like that, and just
Hulk Hogan versus Andre.
Hogan versus Andre. Oh my God, Okay, we're getting a little sidetrack here. I actually dedicated a whole podcast episode to this. When Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant, there's a song by I forget how he say his last name.
LaJoy.
He played Taco on The League, which is one of my favorite shows ever about fantasy. It's about fantasy football. These guys in a fantasy football league, and he played Taco, and he would do like crazy songs on there. You sent me that song. I literally had like a breakdown at work.
Yeah, man.
A full breakdown.
I cried.
It was like ugly crying listening to I've listened to this every time I listen to it, I ugly cry. And I dedicated, a good part of that podcast to that song. And
that was our childhood, bro. The guy emulated it so well. It's for those of you that don't know it, what he does is he takes the LJN wrestlers, those big rubber ones from back in the day, the ones that my brother would hold, like Andre the Giant. And if you get fucking hit with one of those things,
forget about it.
It leaves a raspberry, like a big one. Like Andre's head was like this. So if you get fucking hit,
and he had that hair then too.
Yeah, the thick hair.
Had the fro.
Like you throw that from across the room, dude. Like, so he makes a video for the song Andre getting slammed by Hogan with these wrestlers, and it's just like so well done. It's them in the ring and it's acting it out and stuff, and like you don't even see hands in it, right?
No, they did a really good job of it.
Yeah.
And then it showed like the kids playing with the figures at the end.
Growing up and like going through it and stuff.
Yeah, it was
us.
It was my childhood. It reminded me a lot of like, especially, and I was, so in 87, I was 8 years old. I probably wasn't even 8 yet before WrestleMania happened. And the emotion, that was like, it was insane. It was absolutely insane watching that as a kid. Pictures of as a 7-year-old kid. Everything's real. Santa Claus is real. Wrestling's real. The Easter Bunny. Everything is real.
Right.
And Hulk Hogan is going as Andre the Giant. It was like, I don't think I've ever been more nervous watching an event in my life.
I have a buddy named John Korziak. I'll give him a shout out.
Yeah.
And he talks about it, and he always says that, when Hogan is like getting his ass kicked during the match or whatever, and he's like getting choked out, he said that he was on the floor saying, "Come on, Hulk, use my strength." Like, that's what the Hulkamaniacs used to do. Like, they would it could ruin a weekend if Hogan, like, even moving forward, like with Hogan losing the belt on Saturday night's main event that time. Well, I'm totally going off the topic, but like, these guys were like real life superheroes, and this is what this guy did in this song.
Yeah,
like, and it opened up some tear ducts.
Absolutely, a lot. It brought me back.
So bringing it back, you cry.
Yeah, I cried in the podcast. And I hate when I do it, but it feels good, I guess, afterwards. You know, you get the stuff out of the basement. And,
I cried on the way to the podcast tonight. September's a rough month, dude.
It is. It is. It's July for me. I get it.
It's like wake me up when September ends.
Yeah. I mean, it's some. Yeah. Listen, sometimes it's good. I love crying in my car. It's awesome. It's the best.
No, you have to, man.
Put music on. Just good cry. What's better than that?
Nothing. No, that's it. That's our time.
Yeah.
It's our safe haven.
Get a coffee. Get a little coffee and a
You
cry.
want to cry and talk about it?
Let's talk about it. Get the honey, Junior. Oh, boy. You ever suck the jelly out of a jelly donut?
I like to put the peanut butter cup into the donut and let the peanut butter and jelly melt into the dough.
Tony actually could be Junior in this part.
Get the key. Get me the keys, Junior.
The Motley Brothers, my ass.
Oh man. So yeah, so I came up with like a couple of things that I did want to ask.
Okay.
And but that's like my rapid fire questions. I'm going to do in a little while. But I do want to ask you about something right off the bat.
Uh-oh.
About cigars.
Okay.
Tell me about the history of this with your cigar. Like you're like a cigar aficionado, right? Like
Yeah,
you love them.
I love cigars. Yeah, I'm a cigar guy.
So like, how did that start?
It started when I was a teenager, actually. My dad got into the cigar craze in the early mid-'90s. Like him and all his friends, like Mr. Gruder, Mr. Austin, Mr. Joya, they all used to sit around and smoke cigars in the backyard. And it always smelled good. I mean, I hated cigarettes. You know that.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think I've ever seen you smoke one cigarette.
I tried one once and I hated it. I didn't smoke the whole.
Not near me.
I took it. No, I was at home, and I took a drag, and I
Out of one of the lids?
Yeah. She probably was like looking for it for like 20 years, and I wanted to kill somebody. Like, Tony, you smoked my goddamn cigarette. So it smelled so good, and I always wanted to try one. And like, I begged my dad, let me try. And when I was 16, let me try one. It was 90s. It was different. And I liked it. But I didn't smoke one again really until I was like 17. A senior in high school, I would have one every now and then. And on senior cut day, I was 17. I had to go to... Remember the tobacco stores at the corner at Grand Avenue? Used to be a tobacco store?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was at Mike Albanese.
Wow, that's old school.
Mike Albanese was 18. He had to go in and...
Get it for you.
Get me the cigar. I had an Onyx, which was like... And it was like a Churchill, so it was like a 7x52. And I smoked that on senior cut day. I had it like for most of the day. And
was this the same day that... who pierced their nuts? Was it Rostowski?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was the same day.
He self-pierced his nut with some... Yeah,
some
girls
with
there.
a girl's ear, he popped it right through. Those blood everywhere.
Who punched him in the face because of it?
I think Reese did.
Get away from me, Kevin.
Ew, that's gross for Scow.
You know, it's so fucked up. I'm such a loser that I graduated
Nick was at our senior cut day.
I graduated a year before them, and I still went to their senior cut day.
So
I was like Matthew McConaughey, still hanging out in fucking high school.
So I got into cigars, and after that, like, I got into it a little more. My dad's cousin would have these cigar dinners like once a month. I go to this steakhouse, Barton and Doyle's. They would have half of it like glassed off where you could sit, smoke, and eat and drink, and we had a blast. Went to the 21 Club one time, basement of the 21 Club for a cigar dinner. Yeah, I used to do a blast. Then my 20s, I continued with, and it wasn't really till I started, like, I got engaged the first time that I went away from it because, like, it was, she wasn't into it and this and that, and I would always have a cigar here and there. So whenever somebody had one, like weddings, I'd always have one and stuff like that. And then, I'm trying to think. My dad went away from it a little bit too, and then like in my late 30s, I started getting back into it again.
And that's when the lounge came in.
Yeah, well, you know what happens? Even like when I started working where I work now, I kind of got back into it because one of the project manager at the time, guys would give him cigars and he would give them to me.
Oh, because he wasn't into it.
Yeah, he'd be like, hey, you want this? And some of them are Cuban, so I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then, so I would sit out, and then like one day I'm like, why don't I just buy a couple more cigars? I enjoy this. I enjoy sitting outside. It's peaceful.
You don't like the backwoods ones, though.
Which ones?
The backwoods.
No, I like real cigars. So then the lounge happened kind of by accident because it was 4th of July. They were open. I went to go buy cigars, and I happened to just see the lounge. And I said to my buddy Rich Karcher, I was like, hey, man, I was like, we should go smoke at this lounge. And he's like, yeah, I've been telling you about it for like a year. He was telling me about it for a year. I just was like, oh, okay. So we went down, and that's how Matadors became a thing. And I would go down like with my dad and a few of my friends, and then the pandemic hit, and when they opened back up again, I just started going down by myself, and I became like Norm from Cheers. It's like Cheers down there. Everybody is regulars. Everybody knows each other.
Yeah, you tell me about it, man. You have
awesome.
a good time. And
I love
it's
it.
Cool.
The guys are great group of guys. We watch the games down there. I'll go down to after this. I'll go down to watch the rest of the football game, have a cigar. And it's peaceful, and it relaxes me.
Yeah.
After a stressful day.
Like, I don't know. Like for me, like with cigars, like I feel like I have to get done with it so quick, and I don't do it right.
You're a nightmare smoker, one.
Yeah, because I'm like a cigarette guy.
You tried. I mean,
It hurts.
You and my dad tried to have one together.
Yeah, and it hurt.
You were inhaling it.
I know. That's what I think. When you smoke something, you got to inhale it.
No, cigar is about the taste. So you draw, smokes it for a little bit, and you get it out. Just get
What's
the taste.
that like? Then they give you like the cognac. What do you dip it in there?
You can, but you could pair it with
Dip
different.
the tip like the one that you suck on.
You can, but I don't do that. Arnold actually dips his in tequila, and then he smokes it.
Really?
Yeah, he dips his cigars in tequila. Some people do that with bourbon. You could pair it with different things because some cigars go better with wine, scotch. Coffee actually goes great with cigars, especially a nice Maduro. So I usually pair mine with coffee. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I never really knew the history behind it. I know you like I said, here and there, seeing you through the years, but I didn't know where it really began.
It started getting like in my mid to late 30s, more and more, and then definitely probably around 2018 is when I really got back into it again and started like reading up on what was coming out and this and that and trying and exploring new cigars.
And you say it's good for stress.
Yeah, it's actually very good for mental health.
Really?
Doctors have said it. Listen, it's tobacco. There's risks like anything else, but I don't drink. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't do drugs. This is my outlet. This is my vice. I try not to eat cake anymore. Like, can I have like one goddamn thing?
I get it, man. You need those stress relievers.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I started like really posting about cigars, I got a lot of people coming at me with negative comments. And and people, I would go to their page and they're drinking like the liquor store.
Yeah.
And I said it to somebody one time. I'm like, she's like, cigars aren't good for you. I'm like, all the drinks that you drink and every picture you have, they're probably not good for you either. I said, but like,
They
pick
didn't
your
like
poison.
that.
No, I don't care.
Well, you know what? That's what the internet has turned into. People usually flip your joy into their ammunition, and they like to fucking attack.
But you know me, I don't.
No, you're the king of comebacks.
I don't say I'm the king of comebacks, but I don't.
I think you are.
I
You're
don't
very good with them.
I don't take lightly to comments.
No, but I'm just saying, as far as coming back with something, you're quick with that shit, man.
Always have been for some reason. I don't know.
I'm always like a sentence or two later, come back, and then it doesn't matter at that point. You got to be on point with that.
Got to be on point. Well, I got heckled my first night doing comedy. You were there. You saw it,
dude. I still to this day think that is one of the greatest comebacks and one of the greatest deliveries that I've ever said. Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it was crazy. So first time ever on stage. I'm nervous already. And within 2 minutes, I'm getting heckled by some guy. And I just turn and just unloaded on him. I didn't even think about it. I don't even know what I said.
Something about his hat.
Yeah, he's bald. So I was talking about him being bald and
grow
hair.
That's that one. But there was another one that I've used throughout the years.
Oh, yeah. So somebody asked me how much I weighed. And I told him 10 pounds less than his mother.
Let me tell you, that's
shut him
fucking amazing because it's going to make him feel like the biggest piece of shit for even trying to make fun.
And I just called his mother a big fat slob.
Right. And whoever he's with is going to laugh at him.
Yes.
Because similar situation happened to me. Because that, right now, that's always been back pocket for me. Ever since I heard you say that, that is such a great comeback for a guy of size when someone says that question. I waited and waited for years and years for someone to say that to me. And it finally happened. I was at Schmidt's Farm, the annual Halloween thing that I do.
Yes.
And as typically nights go on, the drunk crowd shows up, and that's when the loudmouths show up. And there was a group of like 5 guys, and the guy comes in, and he backs up like this, and he's like, Jesus Christ, how much do you weigh? And I fucking did the line. And his friends just, you fucking asshole, what the and he's just standing there like,
yeah, there's no real comeback to that.
You can't. You just have to move on with your tail between your legs and feel like the biggest piece of shit.
See, what I like to do in that kind, I also like to make things awkward. I feed off of it. I like that. So me and John Ziegler are actually standing outside of this place one night. We're just having a conversation, and the 2 people from the show that were in the audience, they come up and go, you guys should, like, switch shirts to be funny. So I'm like, why would that be funny? Just deadpan. Why would that be funny? Because it's funny. I go, well, tell me what's funny about it. I want you to tell me what's so funny about it.
Pesci.
Yeah, kind of like a Pesci thing. And Ziegler's like, drop it. But I'm not, because it's like, you want to say something stupid. Have a punchline. Listen, I appreciate a good joke more than anything else. I do. And I can laugh at myself. And believe me, being a comedian, I've heard everything and that you could say to somebody about any subject. And if it's funny, I'll laugh. If it's just dumb, you're going to have to explain it to me. I want to know why.
Yeah, no, and I think it all stems because one of our people that we look up to have explained it. And let me see if you agree with me. Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Kevin Smith, at a young age.
So another thing you sent me that made me cry at work.
Oh, what is that called again? Trauma is Trauma?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough video because basically, in a nutshell, Kevin Smith talks about his past and things that he'll never forget. He was a victim of sexual abuse, and he put out this video. It was like a 20-minute video. And now the Kevin Smith that we all see, the Silent Bob, when he goes out as a character that he plays, and he's funny and everything. But this video was Kevin Smith playing just Kevin Smith. And it was like that Kevin Smith. That's what he called himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's always on. Like, he's always saying that he's self-promoting. And he's always like, worrying about, like, staying relevant and all this other stuff. And he talks about, like, the sexual abuse that happened to him as a kid that he always, like, downplayed. But then he also talks about being a big kid growing up.
Yeah.
And how he always tried to beat the heckler to the punch and say a joke about himself just to make himself feel secure or like safe, like a security blanket kind of thing.
Yeah, because if you're funnier than the guy, I mean, you take all the power out of him. I mean, what he says now means nothing because you've beaten it.
Right.
And that's kind of like what I try to, and I related to that too because, I get heckled on stage. First thing I want to do is I want to just stop. First I want to stop it because I hate hecklers. And anybody who's listening that thinks when you go to a comedy show and you yell shit out that you're helping, you're not. You're an asshole. You're doing nothing to help the show, believe me. When the comedian sits down to write his act and his material and his jokes, he does not have a spot that he wrote 2 minutes so some drunk idiot from the crowd can interject something that makes no sense and is incoherent.
So listen up, fuckos. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Don't heckle at a comedy show.
No.
It's not welcomed, believe me. It's one thing if the comedian talks to you. It's another thing if someone just joke, oh, yes, I know that. Oh, that's so me. No, it's not. It's not you. Shut up. Enjoy it. Laugh and just drink and enjoy yourself.
Tony, what do you think about that?
Kind of got angry for a second.
Being that,
What about heckling?
Yeah.
I totally agree with what Anthony's saying, and I identify with it. I personally enjoy crowd work.
Yeah.
So if they get too drunk and they don't shut up, that's different. But just a little quick banter.
Crowd work is one. Yeah, absolutely,
Right.
Tony. I agree with you. Crowd work is one thing where the comedian is welcoming it.
Right.
But if someone is in the middle of a setup, like in the middle, but it's him but crowd. Yeah, I enjoy crowd work too. We'll have some fun.
But I do find now, in this day and age with TikTok and Instagram, I do feel that comedians are almost kind of welcoming heckling because that's all they're posting now. They don't
Yeah.
want to post their act, which I understand. So what they're posting is somebody yelling out at them and how they responded to it, and that's all you're seeing now on these platforms is them messing with them. So I feel that they're kind of. There's so many of them that they're inviting the audience to come heckle. So it's kind of a
Crazy
weird
shit
thing.
that I see on that with like people like coming up on stage and the slapping or the fucking throwing drinks
Yeah.
and stuff. That's insane.
Well, let me tell you something. That Chris Rock thing with Will Smith, that set a bad precedent.
Bad.
Because people then thought it's okay to slap somebody in the mouth if you don't like what they said. I mean, that's just been covered a million times. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to get into I'm just saying that I think set a precedent. And it happened before. People will come up and this and that. But Tony's right. I mean, you see people looking for what gets hits and views and clicks, shares, and that's what does. And it's then people think, okay, I can go to comedy is I'm like the old man yelling, "Get off my lawn!" Here, it's not what it used to be. It's not the same.
Do you know though? I know you said you don't want to really get into the whole Chris Rock thing, but
Yeah.
actually yesterday, Sean Penn came out and he was talking about it, and he said, "Why the fuck didn't Chris?" I know Chris Rock didn't press charges, but how come Will Smith wasn't arrested? Because he was talking about the time that he was arrested on the set of Colors 30 years ago because he fucking punched and he spit in the face of an extra.
Yeah, and he also was. I mean, he had a cameraman. He was arrested. I mean,
But I mean, Sean Penn is an outspoken asshole.
yeah.
You
So
know?
Sean Penn, people just waiting like a year and a half later. Hey, what Sean Penn thinks about this?
Right? Right. Yeah. Way to fucking be like relevant with the times.
Yeah, it's like he woke up from like a 3-year nap and was like, "Hey, let me comment on this."
He was probably in the van getting high with Anthony Edwards.
I get it. Probably he's in.
Spicoli.
Yeah.
Fast Times 2.
So no, it's true though. It was why? Because the Academy knows who's winning what that night.
Right.
Will Smith is winning the Academy Award for Best Actor. They thought maybe that'll smooth it over. Probably.
Nope.
No, did not. And you know what?
He fucked himself.
I give
Chris Rock, right?
I have more respect for Chris Rock because as a comedian, I know exactly what was going through his head. Because you could see him when he's like, "Oh, I can get," because he had the ammo. He's got the ammo. He's got the verbal ammo the way he could have destroyed him. If you watch his special and what he said,
Amazing.
that's what he could have said that night.
And he held it.
He held it until the right time. And then Will Smith got butthurt that he said that. But, dude, I mean, you brought this on yourself.
Right.
There's different ways to box. Some people do it verbally. Some people do it physically. And when you're going to get into a war like that with Chris Rock, you're not going to win.
lose.
You're going to lose every time. The dude is
On fire.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
That's probably, for me being a fan of his, I think that was his best stand-up that he's ever done.
it's my favorite because
Right?
it was, you know what? Because it reminds me of a Dane Cook joke. I'm a big Dane Cook fan, and most comedians hate him, but whatever. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do stand-up. So Dane Cook did a joke about him blowing up and becoming so big, and how he's like, I Googled Dane Cook, and I'm like, oh, this Dane Cook guy's an asshole. Even I started to hate him, And he would get these emails from people, like disgusting emails. Like, it was anonymous at Yahoo, and he's like, first of all, congratulations on being the first anonymous. Like, you got the email. And the guy was like, Dane, both of your parents died of cancer because they didn't want to listen to your shitty comedy, something like that. And he was like, it's highly unlikely. And then years later, the guy wrote him again and was like, Dane, I'm really sorry. My dad recently passed away, and I apologize. And Dane's like, sometimes you can take the high road. He goes, I took the low road. And he wrote him, Dear Anonymous, I'm sorry that I'm going to butcher it, but you go listen to it. Something like his dad passed away because his son's a pathetic loser or still lives in the basement or something like that, so his dad had to die. And go listen to the joke because I'm paraphrasing it horribly, but Dane Cook, again, you threw a jab at him. He's a professional. He came back with the knockout punch. And sometimes you do have to take the low road.
Yeah.
Every time, and it feels good. But I do it too on social media. I can't help myself. Somebody writes something dumb, and I do all the time.
Do you know Meds from Demon Scar? He handles all our social media. Creds. So Creds. He handles all the social media stuff, really, and he deletes a lot of stuff, and he won't even tell me. But sometimes he'll save it for like months later, and then we'll just sit in there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a bunch of these, but I deleted them like 6 months ago because I didn't want you to go fucking crazy and like respond to all these morons." And the shit that's like said about us, dude, is just like, one of them was like, "Wow, Phil Anselmo really let himself go." Like, the lead singer from Pantera.
Oh.
I know you don't know him by name, but you know him by look.
I'm not a big Pantera fan.
Oh, really? I thought you had all their albums.
No, I don't have one. No.
Well, yeah. Sometimes, for me, I learned I don't really try to engage in that stuff. But, hey, it's probably because I don't have the good comebacks.
Yeah, but what are you going to say to that? I was just like, yeah, he did.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, all right, let's...
Well...
Let's move
That's how we're
on.
going to segment tonight. Wow.
Well, that's a good segue.
Yeah,
That's a
I like
good
that.
segue, right?
Yeah.
I like that, right?
I do.
Doing things on the Primal screen. I have our movie segment tonight.
Yeah.
Is a topic that we talk about all the time. It's one of our favorite sagas of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of your favorite sagas too. And we're going to get into it right now.
Saga.
It's a saga. It's an epic saga. We're going to talk about the Rocky saga.
Saga.
You know Rocky, right?
Yeah, I know Rocky.
You do, right? All right. So we're going to talk about not the Creed movies because that's a separate thing. I feel like it is in the Rocky universe, and Rocky just shows up on set for these movies. But we're not going to rank them. We're just going to rank 1 through 6, the original through Rocky Balboa, and talk about each one. So I guess we're going to start from the bottom of the barrel first, and I think that I don't know your list because we didn't share before this, but I think we share the same bottom of the barrel.
5.
Part 5. There has to be one, but for me, I don't hate Rocky 5.
I hate it, but I watch it every time it's on.
Right. I could same thing.
Stallone's like it seems like someone's doing a parody of Stallone and Rocky. He like forgot how to play Rocky.
Yeah, I think
like
the
mentally
90s
challenged.
I think the 90s really fucked him up.
Yeah, because I mean, he's Rocky. He created the character, and he's acting like if you watch like a Saturday Night Live sketch, almost like what Rocky would be like. And listen, I like the plot.
Plot's great.
Plot's great, because it happens to athletes all the time. They lose everything.
Absolutely.
And you got to go back, and I get it. I didn't. It just was horribly done. Take
the locker, it had to be 90s, so that's why it has those songs in it and stuff. The soundtrack is absolutely horrendous.
Soundtrack is the worst Rocky soundtrack.
What is it like that?
It's it's like the old doo-wop, but like to like a hip hop beat. Like it was like someone like remixed it.
Right. It's like back on the street.
Back on the streets. Do 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 do.
But there is a scene in that movie that I do want to talk about, and it's the locker room scene, the flashback with Mickey. That right there is fantastic.
One of the best Rocky scenes ever.
Right?
Yes.
Because it has the old score.
Yes.
And he talks, and you shed tears. I shed tears when I saw that.
It's because, and when I first saw it in the theater, I was like young. I was like 11.
It came out, what, 1990?
90, yeah. So I was like trying to think, when was that? Like, I know, 'cause I wanted to I didn't remember it. And I'm like, that's awesome that he wrote that for the movie and Burgess Meredith's so alive to do it. That's the best part of Rocky 5. And that to me is, but again, it's a bad movie.
And the second best part is definitely the cameo by Father Carmine.
Yeah, Father Carmine.
Bringing back that old character, which is fantastic. I love that. The street fight I do like.
Street fight was good.
Because it shows you what Rocky was before. Like, I guess not pre. I guess
He was a
prequel?
collector. He collected,
Those he definitely had a couple of those fights. That wasn't his first street fight.
No, he grew up fighting in Philadelphia. I mean,
Like that sweep of the leg and shit. And
Yeah.
like, I love that.
he was the original Fresh Prince in West Philadelphia, born and
I you know what? Honestly, too, like as much as like it is cringe and everything, Tommy Morrison I thought played a very good role.
He did, but everything it's
90s, dude.
It's
It's screaming
90s. It
90s.
happened. Things happen too fast. I get where they were going with it,
Right.
and again, it was a good plot.
Don King emulating.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
the guy George Washington.
Well, because
dude.
I mean, he did that in all his movies. I mean, Creed was Ali. I mean, but
yeah.
getting back to this one, it was a good plot, the good idea. I could see when they were fleshing this out why it got greenlit because it's a good story. They just executed it horribly.
Yeah. I'm sure, you know what, dude? Like, he probably never watches it because of it being bad. He hates it.
Like, how does Adrian go back to work without Rocky knowing? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't he see her leaving in the
You're
morning?
doing it?
He doesn't see her leaving in the morning, and she's like, "She called,
Even, yeah, right? It's very bad acting.
Gloria. She called."
Like, Stage Stallone, too, man. Like, he wasn't.
His kid put his
Yeah,
kid
he
in
put
the
his
movie.
kid
I get
in
it.
there.
I can't handle
It's a
it.
hard watch, dude, probably, because Stage Stallone, obviously, he's not here anymore. So he probably can't even watch the movie.
Probably not, but it's a bad movie.
Yeah. So I don't mind him getting punched in the face a couple of times
No.
in that movie, Sage Stallone.
No.
All right, so let's move on. So my next one is definitely not going to be your next one, but mine is Rocky 4. What do you got?
I got Rocky 3.
Okay, so let's talk about... all right, we'll talk about Rocky 3.
Okay, so
Rocky 3 for me is my number 2.
I don't get why. I feel like this is like a typical. This would be like the first two are so amazing. This is like something totally different than Rocky. It's a big budget summer action movie, and I don't like it for that reason. I mean, 4 is also, but I don't know. I dig the montages and everything. 4 is a one big montage. I dig it for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I love the music, love the soundtrack. I like, it's to me, it's more believable than this even.
Then 3?
Yeah, I don't know why. I like. Don't get me wrong. I love 3. I mean, it's hard. It's like picking,
So him climbing up a fucking 2,000-foot mountain is
yelling
believable?
Drago. I fucking love it, man. I love it.
It's amazing. It's totally believable.
Drago going, "Das for that, das for that."
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why. For me, it's always been that way. Like don't get me wrong, I like Rocky 3. I hate that they killed Mickey off.
Oh, that's another tearjerker.
Yeah, so I hate that they killed Mickey off. I feel like everything was rushed in this movie. Like,
It's quick. It goes
yeah,
by very, very
it goes
fast.
by very fast. He
That's why I like
he
it.
trains to the jungle junk music. That's Paulie says. He can't.
I'll
he
kill
ain't-
you, you
He
sterno
can't
bum.
train to the jungle junk music. Yeah, he can't move like that.
Can he swim with a name like Rock?
And I like that him and Apollo became friends.
Yeah, that's a
and,
great part.
yes,
I like that.
again, because believe me, when Apollo dies in 4, it's another tearjerker.
But what about Thunderlips?
I'm not saying I don't like it. See, this is the thing. You always, and this has been the age-old argument for over 25 years. You think by me putting 4 ahead of 3, I don't like 3.
I love both, but
I do too. But again, you always think that me putting 4
I
ahead
take
of 3.
offense to it. Because this
I take offense you putting 3 against over 2.
You do?
Yeah.
But, just...
But what?
Rocky 3 is real because I feel like...
It's not.
You always remember when you get there, you don't let it get to your head and you prove that you belong there. He lost his edge. Like, it happened to fighters all the time.
Okay.
Like, they get to that point, and then I feel it's, real because, he gets to that point, but there's always someone hungrier in a basement, and he's doing pull-ups, and he's... and he's going for it and whatever, man. Mr. T is a sick individual. He's ready. He's got the fucking eye of the tiger
Yeah, okay.
for that moment. But then Rocky gets it back.
Yeah, 5 minutes later. Listen, I'm not saying I love Rocky 3, but
I guess sentimental reasons, too. It's the first Rocky I saw in the movies.
okay. Me too. It's all of us. First Rocky we saw in the movies. Unless you
Rocky
were-
3? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were young, right?
Yeah, we were young.
Yeah, we were probably like, what, 5 and 6?
Came out, what, 85?
No.
84?
Like 83?
Then I didn't see it in the theaters.
Yeah.
I probably didn't see it in the theaters. And Rocky 4 is probably the one I saw in the theaters.
All right.
That's probably why I like it more than 3.
So, did we just talk about Rocky 3 and 4?
We did, basically. I mean, I know you probably have the next one, Rocky
But
4.
No,
No?
Rocky 2.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Rocky 2
I just
is
actually
my third.
I actually rewatched these recently within the last few months. I've actually watched these. So Rocky 2 is your number 3?
Rocky 2 is my number 4.
Why does it fall so well? I mean,
Well, because it is an amazing sequel. I love how it picks up right where it left off. It's very sad and very somber throughout the whole fucking movie. Like the coma stuff and like, oh man, there's so much
what are we waiting
drama.
for?
I love that. Yeah, biblical and all that stuff is great. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I rank it there just because of the sadness in it. It's so sad, dude.
yeah, it's a film.
I know, but like, it's more. I think it's the saddest one out of all of them.
Yeah, it is. That's why I like it.
I'd rather have like more feel good stuff.
No,
High fives.
yeah, you like. That's why you like Rocky 3.
That's the reason.
Yeah, well,
I love that.
no, that's. I mean, 4 for me is my is 4 in the series. That's why I had that ranked.
Well, I mean, okay, we'll leave it at that. But
All right.
Let's talk about the director's cut now. We went to go see that together.
We did.
Why he did this? He fucked that movie up big time with the director's cut.
See, I don't think it was all him though.
What was it?
I think it's a studio too, though. The same thing happened with Snyder with the.
Oh no! This is
That was Stallone?
This is a whole Stallone edit,
Well,
dude. He deleted all of fucking Bridget Nielsen's dialogue. He took the robot out. How do you take the robot out? Don't take it out on the robot.
I mean, I it's even more why it's there where it is because we're seeing the director's cut. It's an even better. He made a music video.
That's what it felt like.
It's a
90-minute
montage.
Yeah,
It's a 90-minute montage.
the whole thing. But he even messed up the music.
Oh, it's on fire.
He changed around the music in the movie and stuff in like the director's cut. Doesn't he have the Eye of the Tiger in it?
I don't know.
Yeah, he has the Eye of the Tiger at the end of 4. Like, what the fuck you doing?
First of all, the soundtrack is phenomenal to Rocky.
Rocky 4, the soundtrack
Yes.
is amazing. Oh yeah,
Yes.
dude, it's the greatest soundtrack out of all the whole series or whatever. But so my number 3 from we're going in reverse now, so like, we're getting to the bottom is Rocky Balboa.
Me too.
You like that?
I love Rocky Balboa, and the more I watch it, the more I love it. I feel like they got back to Rocky. You know, this is like in
Back
the
to
same
basics.
Yeah, this is the same as Rocky 1 and 2. It's not a summer action movie. It's not like soundtrack based. It's a film picking up where Rocky is later in his life, and he's lost Adrian.
It is sad.
It is sad. Him and his son never see eye to eye. So you have that playing in. Paulie, what he's up to. And
The only thing I really don't like about it is Steps.
why do you like Steps?
Steps is kind of like cheesy.
Yeah, but he's.
I guess it was either Steps or his son. So I guess the son, they needed the drama because there's no Adrian, so they needed someone to give him shit, right?
Well, I also think that him and his real life son didn't see eye
So
to
that
eye.
was
on
that
things.
was autobiographical.
So I think that's why that him and that kid never see eye to eye.
Yeah.
I mean, Steps is like, it's almost like he's mentoring somebody in that movie. There's always a mentor and
So it's almost like a prequel to Creed.
in a way, but he's like Mickey there, passing things down, life
Right.
lessons down to
Wonder what Steps is up to now.
I don't know.
Doing a dime?
Why wasn't he in Creed?
He's probably got arrested.
Doing the dime, maybe.
He did a dime.
But I like the overall movie of it. And at first, when I heard that they're doing Rocky Balboa, he was like almost 60. He was in his 60s. I'm like, how is this fight even going to make sense? And it
does.
did.
It's a great fight.
It did because they got with the training montages. It's one of my
Sick.
favorites.
Awesome.
So
believable.
Let's start building some murder bombs.
Yeah.
And you bring back Duke, And he trained like a guy who, who's been an athlete his whole life and has all these problems and
all these obstacles.
It made sense. He went in there and just gave it
Little
his all.
sidebar is keep moving forward from this.
Is what?
The title of your podcast was inspired by this?
No.
No? Dude, that speech he talks about.
Well, I love that speech, but I never put two and two together like that.
I always thought that.
No. I guess maybe like I always
Subliminally?
I just say keep moving forward, and that's how I got it.
That's how winning is done.
How winning is done. Now, yeah, it makes sense.
All right, so my number 2 is Rocky 3, and yours is 2?
2.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
1,
you're
2.
1 and 2. So really, you stick to the how you really laid it out, but you just switch around 4 and 3, and move up Balboa.
And 6 Balboa's moved up too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's. I feel like if you didn't have 3, 4, and 5, this would have been like years later. They would have made this movie. It would have been the third movie.
So you want to get into the what ifs? Like, what if they didn't kill? What if they didn't kill Apollo? Right?
Yeah.
So Super Fight 3 could have happened.
Nah, he was too old. He was in the movie. He was older than Rocky. He was already in his 40s.
Who? Apollo?
He was in his 40s when Rocky 4 came around. He was older than Rocky.
He kind of gave Cole Weathers the shaft, though.
You gotta give him the shaft. What do you mean? Put him in the Rocky movies?
He didn't have to kill him.
He did in the plot. That's why he was retired.
Maybe hurt him really bad. Can you imagine Rocky 4? At the end, they wheel him out in the wheelchair.
I didn't think they thought they'd be still making Rocky movies in 2024 or 2023.
He's pissed right now. He wants to make another one.
Who?
Rocky, because he doesn't have the rights to it. You imagine?
I think we should leave it enough now.
Can you imagine that shit? That's Hollywood for you, motherfucker.
What kind of movie is he gonna make though? At this point,
Who cares?
but enough's
Let's
enough.
do it.
No,
I don't want to see Creed 4. I'd rather see Rocky fucking 7.
I like Creed 3. I like the Creed movies.
Oh, dude, Creed 3. Really?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you would have whatever.
What do you mean? You're giving me the whatevers.
You have Rocky 3. It's number 2 Rocky movie. I can't talk serious about Rocky with you anymore.
But dude, Rocky 3 is like great.
It's not great. It's good. It's a good movie. I like it. Believe me, I love the movie.
I love them all.
It's not great.
It's all right, man.
Rocky 1 is great. Rocky 2 is great.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Rocky 1 yet. What could we possibly say about
phenomenal
the greatest movie, one of the greatest
movie,
movies ever?
The best underdog story from nothing to somebody.
Wow. Man, you really took my words right off my script.
It's
classic tale of the underdog.
Yeah, here's a guy who can
You
barely
speak my language.
can't read, can't write.
The international language of love.
Somebody else has got to do the figuring for him. He's a bum. He really is a bum.
Do you know that also that I feel that's the first 4D movie ever? Because not like being 3D and in your face, but you can actually fucking see the filth on the floor, and you feel like
You feel that movie.
scummy.
Yeah, you feel in that gym. Yeah, the
Right?
dirt and those
Sweat.
guys sweating and trying to climb rankings and
Dude, when like Paulie's in that fucking bathroom and he's shaving
smell
in a
it.
broken, you smell the piss.
it's like disgusting.
It's disgusting. Like I shit
Disgusting
and
Philly-
pissed in questionable bathrooms. I don't think I would shit and piss in that place.
You
That's a creep
you
joint.
shit at the bathroom at Coney Island High. You wouldn't take a shit in that place.
I don't know, man. It looked disgusting.
Coney Island High was the grossest bathroom I've
Worse
ever
than
seen.
that?
Dude. Do you remember the bathroom at Coney Island High?
Did Paulie live in there?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, he
That's where
definitely
he lived
in there.
until he had to go home for the turkey.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Oh.
basically that's right. Oh,
It's Thanksgiving. You're making a turkey.
I give you my sister.
You busted.
You busted. But I always, and this movie's the perfect example of like boxing's the backstory.
Yeah. Again, that's what I like about when sports movies where that's the backstory. Like, it's what he does. And
Phenomenal.
it's his life and how it intertwines. That's all he could do. Has no other skill but to get punched in the face. And, it got him to the heavyweight championship. Then Rocky 2, he wins.
Yeah.
And, it's a phenomenal, like, from zero to hero story. And, I don't think there's anything's come close since Rocky came out.
They can never remake that movie. Why would they even
I'm sure they
fucking
will.
try?
The
But how could they?
transvestite Rocky probably.
Oh,
and like
God. That would be rough. I wouldn't want to see it.
like a Chinese transvestite Rocky, and so it hits all the check marks.
Well, I guess,
I'm just-
anything's possible.
Just joking around. Watch Anthony's canceled tomorrow.
No, you're on my show, so you probably get me canceled.
Yeah, I'll do the world a favor.
You got the hell out of here. As a sidebar, though, for Rocky, I just want to add this little thing that many people might not know. Maybe you guys know, but that skating scene, that was originally supposed to be a big production with all these people doing these like nice like moves and stuff, but because it was over budget by a lot and they couldn't afford it, Rocky changed the script and he made it the way that he did.
Good.
And he nailed it.
Yeah,
That is perfect.
that's a great scene.
I love that.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Come on, $10, 10 minutes.
Come on,
So-
it's Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving. But to me, it's just Thursday.
Why don't you do me a favor, bring it out of here, pal? Huh?
So good.
Yeah. And my favorite line in Rocky, and this is such a, I don't think anybody even thinks about this or anything. There's a scene where he goes, "Why don't you break his thumbs, Rocky?" He goes, I figure break his thumbs, he can't work, he can't pay you back. And he goes, "I'll do the figuring. Let me do the figuring, Rock."
You tell me that all the time.
That's my favorite line in Rocky. Let me do the figuring.
Gazzo.
I'll do the figuring.
Great Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
He's a New York native.
The family had a lot of buffers.
He had a lot of other roles outside of the Rocky saga.
Godfather,
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
He was also in the cult classic Maniac. I know you're not a horror guy.
No, I'm not.
But that movie is very underrated, and it has awesome special effects.
He had a great line in The Godfather. The family had a lot of buffers. I mean, it's just he's been a prominent character in a lot of good movies.
Do you know how he died? Bled to death.
You told me that. Yeah.
He fell out of his out of the shower in his mother's house.
Yeah.
He had some kind of I don't know, some kind of blood thing.
He didn't
going
clot?
on. Yeah. And
Yeah.
He just bled to death. It's a shame.
Thanks.
Because he died young.
Yeah.
He was actually Sergio Stallone's godfather.
Yeah.
They were tight, but I think after Rocky 2, they had a falling out because he doesn't show up anymore.
No, you don't see him in anything else after
Yeah,
that.
that
You
was
know,
it.
you don't need this Rock.
Well, maybe,
plus,
you know what?
Plus, you're Italian.
Plus, condominiums, I never use them. Well, maybe also there wasn't a need for a Gazzo in 3 because
No.
at that point Rocky really moved on. He fixed his face up. He moved on.
He did. No, he did.
He left Paulie behind.
Yeah.
Paulie was pissed. Paulie was still in Skid Row.
Paulie was always in Skid Row.
That's a great opening.
Yeah.
Maybe you should think about moving Rocky 3 up.
I'm not going to move it. I'm not going to move it.
Why not?
Because I'm not. That's the list.
All right, so this is for me. 5. All right, so from the top, bottom to first.
Do
to
bottom.
worst.
No, now we went back. Do the top to bottom now.
Okay, Rocky 3, Rocky Balboa, Rocky 2, Rocky 4, Rocky 5.
All right, I'll do mine. Rocky 2, Rocky Balboa, Rocky 4, Rocky 3, Rocky 5.
Respectable,
That's the list.
I guess.
That's the list.
I guess.
Just saying.
Well, we agreed on some things with Rocky and
they're
Rocky
great,
Balboa,
phenomenal
Rocky
movies.
5.
I love the movies.
We've had that conversation though about 4 so many
we've
times,
had that
right?
movie so
4
many
and
times.
3.
More than I can
Like
count.
a lot of train rides to the city.
Train rides, just driving, every
Everything.
kind of
Yeah.
scenario.
I'm glad that we we kind of stick our ground with it because we both have valid points.
We
I
both
feel.
have valid points. We both have reasons, and you could see both sides.
Yeah.
Except the Rocky.
It's open for your interpretation. You might like whatever
Yeah. You might
more
like-
better than the other. Maybe some people out there like Rocky 5 best.
If they do that, they can't talk to me.
Right?
I don't want to talk to them.
They're not welcomed on your
No,
show.
they're not welcome on. Keep moving forward. They're not welcome in any place I go in life.
No respectable establishment.
No respectable establishment. Nobody chooses to like Rocky 5 as the best Rocky movie.
Oh, that's so funny. All right, so now I have a I got to put a song on right now. It's from my friend's band.
That was
So
like a quick-
we'll take a little
break.
take a little break over there. But I'm gonna put on a song. It's from the band Toys. Mr. Tony, you got the Wire?
Oh yeah.
Thank you,
It's a
sir.
good thing you plan ahead.
We do plan ahead here.
I was getting nervous. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
No, it's all
Tony's
good.
looking at you like, what are you doing? I'm going to sing it, actually. I'm going to sing the band,
Do do do
Toys.
do.
Take it back. Do, 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 do.
Take
Ah,
it
well,
back
I know.
Take it back like before. I don't.
He doesn't have it
mind.
queued up. Do, 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 do.
Well, that's why
Take
you're
it back.
good, man. You should. You have any plugs you want to do?
Doesn't
over
plan.
here?
Do, 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 do.
See, now
Take
you're
it
making
back.
me nervous over here, dude. Why are you doing that to me?
Plugs, yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at Comic Anthony D. Listen to my podcast. You can get it at anchor.fm/KMF podcast. It's available. All podcasts are listed. Apple, Spotify. Spotify if you like the video, because I put the video. Spotify has a video option, so check it out there.
That's it?
Yeah. What other plugs do I have?
All right. Well, this is the band Toys. It stands for Tired of Your Shit. My good friend Jasmine, who actually just directed our video for The Coldest Hell for Demon Scar, she's the drummer in this outfit. They're mean, and they come with a great punk punch, and I hope you guys like it. This song is called Pink Mist, so here you go.
Coming at you.
You got that. All right. That was Toys. Yeah, man. They're kick-ass.
I like all female punk bands.
Yeah, dude. They're pretty awesome. They're from the island. You got Cherry B on vocals, Jess Corallo on guitar, Jazz Edge on drums, and on bass here, Victoria Peasdrack. And actually, this is mixed and mastered by a Belmore guy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Just Column at 756 Productions.
All right.
Did a nice job. He's actually I met him.
Belmore rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Went to our alma mater.
Yeah.
So yeah, so check them out. Tired of your shit? They'll be they're playing gigs all the time. I'm not sure the next one that's coming up, but I definitely wanted to get their music out there. So hope you guys enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it.
All right, cool. So now getting back to the Anthony, I do have some questions for you, sir. Pumpkin spice latte. Like, what's with the hatred?
I don't like it.
It's overrated, right?
It's overrated. For people who don't like pumpkin spice lattes. They like getting pumpkin spice lattes.
You like the time of the season?
Yeah, I like
eggnog.
Yeah, like first of all, there's so many better flavors out there than pumpkin spice.
Like apple.
Apple's phenomenal. Anything apple and brown sugar, it will blow pumpkin spice away.
That's what I feel.
100%.
I'm not into pumpkin spice either.
Yeah, so I started making this series on Instagram. Fuck your pumpkin spice. Because I'm also trying different coffees and stuff, and it's people seem to like it, so I gotta keep doing it.
I think it's great. I like when you do that.
Fuck your pumpkin spice.
That's why I wanted to ask you about it, because I wanted you to plug that. That you
Well, you
stick
can see it on my Instagram page, Comic
stick
Anthony
the pumpkin spice up your assholes.
Yeah.
So do you jerk off?
Yes.
And how are the numbers?
What do you mean?
How are your numbers?
I'm not talking about the numbers.
You don't want to talk about it?
I don't. No.
All right, so these are rapid fire.
You're trying to
ones.
get me to answer that question for 27 years.
Well, I just was asking,
When the mood hits. How about
do
that?
the shout out
Sometimes.
to the
violin
stroke.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Drew. My cousin Drew, one of the funniest motherfuckers ever.
When he did that, I almost pissed myself.
Right.
When he did that the first time I saw that.
Because he was a big guy like us, and he used to say like, I used to have to do the violin stroke in the shower.
And he played. He started doing.
Hysterical. And he also does the best. He did the best Exorcist impersonation I've ever heard.
He was a
in my
funny
life.
guy.
Very funny
like
dude.
Drew.
All right, so we got here Boston Red Sox or New York Rangers.
What?
Who do you like better?
I don't like any of them.
Well, you have to pick.
Who do I hate more?
Yeah.
The Red Sox.
Rob Schneider or David Spade?
Who do I hate or like?
Which one are you going to pick better?
No. You got it. Is this who do I like better?
Yeah.
I like David Spade better.
Marry, fuck, kill. Whoopi, Rosie, and Joy Behar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll marry Whoopi.
Okay.
I'll fuck Joy, and I'll kill Rosie because she looks exactly like Mike Francesa now.
And she also denied my mother of the cannolis.
And she did. She was
Double
rude.
fuck. Double
she was
kill.
rude to Rose Graystone, Mama Graystone, forever. Well, that's disgusting, despicable.
Right?
The sweetest woman on the planet, she was nasty to.
That's not right.
The biggest supporter. Your mother loved. And I remember your mother loved Rosie O'Donnell.
So, yeah. So you got to give a big fuck you before
Fuck you to
before
Rosie.
the shot.
Before the shot. For disrespecting Mrs. Greystone.
So that's two fuck yous to Rosie O'Donnell
dare
that I
you?
did on this. I know she's an alumnus from this place. But
I don't care. How dare you
Right?
disrespect Mrs. Greystone?
Bastard.
Not a mean bone in her body. Sweetheart of a woman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wesley Snipes
You know,
or
how,
Omar
you know
Epps?
how I feel about you.
Yeah, man. I know. We're family.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes or Omar Epps?
I like Wesley Snipes better.
Okay.
Wesley Snipes all day long.
Mo Green or Maury Kessler?
Oh.
That's a hard one, right?
I like Maury.
Maury.
Yeah. Give him 8 to 5 on
It's my
Cleveland.
caper.
Yeah. Give him 8 to 5 on Cleveland. Me and Tim Gage, was a comedian, very funny comedian. We sometimes just would text each other, give him 8 to 5 on Cleveland. Because that's that one line that, no one really knows about, but I always think it's funny. He's like, Henry, I've been good to you, you've been good to me. He's been unconscionable ball buster. Yeah, give him 8 to 5 on Cleveland. I never had to pay the vigorous demands.
Oh, I love Maury too. Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
David Ortiz or Pedro Martinez?
I hate Pedro Martinez the most.
Because it's the Zimmer thing?
Because of Zimmer, because he always threw at the Yankees, because of his Beaker haircut that he looked like Beaker. He had that fro that would just come out of the side of his hat. And he was dominant pitcher, but there was nothing better when they would chant "Who's your daddy" at Yankee Stadium, and I actually would call. So after 2003, I used to call random bars in Boston, and I'd be like, yeah, I got a question for you there. Who's your daddy? And Booney hit that thing wicked fast. It was a short. And they're like, oh, fuck you cocksucker. And then I got the phone. So that was, and I got paid, but then they paid back in 2004. I don't want to talk about that.
Phil Simms or Jeff Hostetler?
Phil Simms, 100%. Fuck Jeff Hostetler.
That's not right. He won that Super Bowl that year.
He didn't win that Super Bowl.
He took the Giants to the promised land.
He did not. That defense and O.J. Anderson won that Super Bowl.
Dude, there's only one O.J. in fucking football.
Don't get me started
We're
on this.
not going about Anderson. We're going about O.J. Simpson.
Whatever.
I know. That's why you don't like Jeff Hostetler.
I don't like Jeff. No, I don't like Jeff Hostetler.
I do.
Why? What did he win for you guys? Nothing.
Yeah, he did.
Have you seen a Super Bowl? Have you ever watched this?
He tried.
You ever watched your team win a Super Bowl?
No,
I've seen 4. So up your ass. Yeah, Jeff Hostetler.
Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj. I like Nicki.
Marry, fuck, or kill. Chloe, Kim, or Kylie?
Very easily. What is it again?
Chloe, Kim, and Kylie.
I'm gonna marry Chloe.
Okay.
I'm gonna fuck Kim and kill Kylie.
Sorry, Kylie.
Yeah.
Kris Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Me too.
I like Caitlyn. You know what I like about Caitlyn Jenner is that it's still Bruce. Like she's just does everything Bruce did: race cars, play golf, like and it's funny. It's like Bruce is just staunch Republican, so you have like Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah, go Trump. I like Trump. Yeah.
I felt bad for Bruce when back in the day.
Listen,
he was picked on a lot
during that show. Yeah, they definitely that was how they made their money originally. She would send Bruce on speaking tours. He was a motivational speaker. And then you watch in the first couple of seasons, everything is Bruce in the office. His medals, his accomplishments, and everything like that. She got rid of all that shit, made it about her, and put Bruce on the back burner.
bullshit.
And you know what? And this is I'm not trying to make a political stand here, but you know what? Like, here's a guy who never felt comfortable in his own skin.
Right.
And he wanted to do this. If she wants to be a woman now. I have no problem with that.
She probably made it easy for him to do the transition. She already had his balls.
Yeah.
100%. Cut his cocky off.
What does that sound?
I don't know.
Oh. What is that? Somebody shooting hoops? What's that?
Chopping lines.
Yeah.
Back to school or easy money?
Oh, man. Sophie's choice right here.
Yeah, right? It's not easy on Primal Scream.
No. Gun to my head, I'm going to say back to school.
Yeah, it's good. It's respectable.
Because I saw it in the theater.
Oh, you did?
That was I saw that. My parents took me to see Back to School in the theater.
Oh, fuck, that's awesome. I didn't see that in the movie theater.
I did.
All right, well, I just got to plug some sponsors, and I'm going to get you the fuck out of here so you can go watch football.
Am I cigar?
Your foosball.
Foosball.
Cloud 8 Delta 8 is an official sponsor of Primal Scream. Keep it legal and avoid the streets, just due to the simple fact you don't know what anything is in these days. So Delta 8 THC works really well because it results in having the feelings of euphoria, happiness, and relaxation without the paranoia and anxiety that comes from Delta 9 THC. Using this product may also help with medicinal purposes. So for all your product needs and everything for this, go to cloud8delta8.com. Use Primal10 and you'll get 10% off your order. Also, Mr. Beeries is an official sponsor of the Primal Scream podcast. Thank you, Steve, a.k.a. Papa. I love you.
Great bar.
It's a great bar. They always put a great... I burped. See, that's what happens when
plug.
you go to...
You know what? I'll give a plug. I'll say Mr. Beeries. Hats off to being such a supporter of local Long Island bands.
Yes.
And putting them out there and giving them...
You've seen my band go there?
I've seen your band there, and other bands too as well. They are so supportive of the local Long Island bands and give them a place to play and be heard. So that's hats off to them for that.
So there's a big special event coming up actually on October 21st, starting at 3 p.m. It's the official first HorrorCon at Mr. Beery's. It's going to be an amazing time. We're going to have food. We're actually just signed, and I'm not sure if I can mention the names yet, but we're going to have an actress and a director there from a horror movie from the 90s. And, we're looking for some vendors if you want to sell some paraphernalia, sell your art, or sell your soul or whatever you'd like. Even just come down to the event. It's going to be a great thing. Later on that night, there are going to be bands playing. We're going to have a screening of the movie. Also, there's going to be some live skits going on by Kevin Mundy. I'm doing this with Julia. She's the barkeep during the day. So it's going to be a great event. You got to check it out. That's going to be October 21st, starting at 3 p.m.
What day is that?
It's a Saturday. Okay. So, it's going to be awesome. And that's going to be none other than at Mr. Beery's. Well, I think that's about it. So I'm going to put this bitch to bed. And, thank you so much for... I had so much fun, man.
Thank you, man.
Anytime we get together, we always have laughs and we shoot the shit. And we could sit here and talk for hours. But
this is a blast. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. You're always welcome to come back. Thank you for letting me pick your brain for a little bit. And, maybe we'll talk about it later.
Talk about it.
Guys, thank you so much. This has been Primal Scream, episode 6. And I'll see you guys on the flip-flop. Later.
Nobody writes your story but you. Later.